Do you ever feel when you ask questions to your prospect, they give you vague answers or they give you surface level answers? No matter how good questions you're asking, no matter what you do, but they just don't give you what you are looking for. You are following a proven scripts. You have went on multiple YouTube videos, gotten the best scripts, best objection handlers, or your team is following the proven scripts, but nothing is working out. You are just not able to close the clients. There's a reason that is happening with you is because it's not what you speak inside the sales call. It is not what kind of script you follow inside the sales call. It's not about what question you ask inside the sales call. It's how you ask those question matters. If you're asking those questions in the wrong way, the most powerful question will also not give you the right answers. And I want to share with you the two major components that are responsible for persuading any prospect to give you the right answer that you are at the end of the day looking for. And the two components are tonality and verbal pauses. The tonality of how you speak and the verbal pauses that you take in between of the conversation or the questions that you're asking. These two factors, if combined together, can give you insane results. Tonality is how you speak the words, and the verbal pauses are the pauses you're taking while you're speaking those sentences, while you're speaking or asking those questions. Example, if I give you the most funniest script also, can you read it and perform it the exact same way and make the crowd laugh the way the person whose script you took? No, right? The reason is because of your tonality, how you are speaking those words, how you're speaking that script, and your verbal pauses. At what time are you taking those verbal pauses? At what time you're stopping and what time you're taking that conversation forward? That what matters, guys. So similarly, even if you have a proven script, the best sales script, and if you are not using it in the right way, it won't give you the results. And guys, you have to understand, ultimately, the trigger to your tonality is your facial expression. You cannot trigger your tonality, you cannot speak in different tones until your facial expressions are not also going with that tone. If your facial expression is flat, you cannot change your tonality. You cannot be angry with a flat facial expression. Just try it, guys, once. Just try to be angry with a flat facial expression. Can you do that? Or try to be concerned with a flat facial expression. Can you do that? No, right? Because ultimately, it's the facial expression that triggers your tonality. If you have been someone who's like, Ayush, I've been trying to use tonality, but I'm just not able to do it, it's because of your facial expression. You are not using your facial expression in the right way. For example, let's say if you have to be concerned, are you all right? Are you all right? If my facial expression is flat, I cannot be concerned. Are you all right? Are you doing all right? No, I cannot do it. Are you all right? Just change the facial expression and you will see a huge drastic impact in your tonality. And I'll be sharing with you 5 scenarios where your tonality decides whether you close the sale or whether you lose your sales. These 5 scenarios can completely change the game for you if you use them in the right way at the right time. So let's talk about the first scenario. Whenever prospect shares something emotional with you, for example, prospect gave you an emotional part of their life. If I stay in the same situation, I'll have to go back to my job. Let's say the prospect said this to you. Now, maximum people, the wrong way that they go with is going back to the job. What's the worst part about that? Like, they'll just either be smiling, oh, going back to the job, what's the worst part about that? Either they'll ask like this, or they'll just go with like, going back to the job, what's the worst part about that? That's what maximum people do. Either they're too flat or they are speaking at high speed. All right, going back to the job, what's the worst part about that? people won't give you the answer to that as well. All right. No one will open up. So if you are responding with flat, robotic tone, that kills the emotional connection. So it's very important that your tonality is in the right way. So the right way to ask a personal question where you can dig deeper is by having a concerned plus curious tonality. Because until you're not concerned, the person wouldn't want to go in depth. And until you are not curious at the same time, the person wouldn't want to go in depth as well. For example, the way you would be asking is going back to the job. Like, what's the worst part about that? So, are you seeing how the tonality is changing? Going back to the job. What's the worst part about that? Like, you have to change your tone. You have to make it softer when someone is sharing with you something personal. That's when they'll want to open up. All right. So, responding with a concern plus curious tone, this builds a connection, which is ultimately the bridge that opens up the entire conversation. That is when they'll open up with you. Let's talk about a different scenario. Let's say when you're challenging their thinking, let's say you're doing an objection handling and they have some kind of limiting belief that you want to challenge for closing the sale. Prospect said to you, I think I'll wait a bit before taking action. That's what prospect said to you. The wrong way that maximum closer would use is, why do you want to think about this? Why do you want to wait? That's how people go, like sharp questioning tone. Why do you want to think about this? That's what maximum people do. See, when you are doing or asking a question or trying to challenge a person with a sharp or questioning tone, it feels like you're attacking their logic. It feels subconsciously to them that you are not aligned to their logic. You don't believe in their logic. We don't want to make them feel that we are not aligned, we are attacking their logic. We have to make them feel that what they're saying is not something we are against. We are just helping them in the right way. The way you will be going ahead with this is responding using a challenge plus softer tone. Whenever you are trying to challenge someone, it's very important that you soften your tone and then ask the question. If you wait for next 3 to 6 months and the problem even gets worse, what happens then? That's how you do it. It should be a softer tone. It should make them feel that you are on their side. It should make them feel that you are trying to help them rather than you trying to sell them. This is what makes them feel that you are on their side, and that's what ultimately closes the sale. So whenever you try to challenge anyone inside the sales call, whenever you try to like ask any question which is breaking their limiting belief, always have a softer tone with a challenging question. That's how you ask challenging questions, not with a sharp or questioning tone. Let's go a third scenario, like the third most common scenario when prospect is giving you vague or unclear answers. All right. For example, prospect said, we have tried a few things before, but nothing really worked out. Wrong ways. When you say few things, what do you mean? Like responding just for sake of going deep. That will make them feel like a sales script. When you say few things, what do you mean? If you directly go with that, the person wouldn't open up. They wouldn't give you the right answers because they now know that you're following a sales script. The right way to go ahead with this is responding with a curious tone. This makes them feel you're actually interested in knowing what is happening. When you say few things, what do you mean by that? Right? That's how you ask the question. You need to be curious. When you say few things, what do you mean by that? That's it. They should feel that you're curious. Your facial expression should show that you're curious. That is when they will start opening up with you. So let's even go with the next scenario. Fourth scenario, that is the most common scenario in any sales call. Let's say a prospect is giving you impractical answers. Like the answer does not makes sense. All right. For example, I don't feel anything is going to be the problem from 5 years. Like if I keep going to the same problem, I don't feel there would be any problem. If the prospect says something like this, or giving you illogical answers like I'm a positive thinker, XYZ. The wrong ways, so are you okay with the where you are right now? That's the wrong way. Again, if you're asking this question, they will become defensive. If you ask this question with the wrong tonality, they will not open up. They will become defensive and they'll start asking you, why are you asking all these XYZ questions? So the right way is responding with the confused tone. This makes them to rethink the answer. Whenever someone gives you an illogical answer, if you respond in a confused tone, this will be like, did I say it right? They'll rethink and give you the answer. So the way would be like, so help me understand, name. You're okay with how things are going? That's how you are ask this question. So are you okay with how things are going? That's what will make them feel like, all right, am I really okay with this? That is how they will open up with the same asking different question, going through script by script. If person does not gives you the right answer, does not make sense. If you just use the right tonality in the right scenario, it will completely be a game changer for you. Let's take one more scenario, the fifth one. Let's say when you have to get prospect, when you have to get your prospects guard down. Prospect says to you, for example, can you give me more time to think about it? All right, now the prospect gave you an objection, and to handle that objection, you want to, of course, get the guards down so they can feel comfortable and they can feel that you're not salesy. So at that time, wrong ways, why do you need more time? That's the wrong way to ask the question. All right, this will make them again defensive rather than opening up. The right way is not a problem at all. See, responding with a neutral tone, right? You have to make sure that they are feeling that it does not matter to you. You are not trying to sell them. Right? This makes them feel you have a safe space to make a decision. For example, not a problem, man. Keeping time aside for a second, how do you feel about the process specifically? So, what we are doing here, we are keeping the tonality very neutral, chill, like we don't care about the sale. What we care about, does the person feels process is right for him or her not or not. So guys, these are the five most common scenarios you will face in any sales calls. And these are the five different tonalities that you can use inside the sales call, and it will be complete game changer for you. So if you want me to specifically help you to boost your sales team closing rate, or if you want me to help you personally to take your closing rate to the next level, then there's a link to book a one-on-one call with me to understand how can we help you out. All right, then we'll see you in the next video. I get this so many times that I try to use the objection handling script, or I try to use a specific script inside my sales call, but whenever I do that, people tend to close off. So why is that actually happening? In this video, I'll be showing you the exact reason, and I'll also show you how to speak and sell to anyone, because there's a way on how you do that. The prospect never closes off. So most coaches, service providers, the biggest mistake they do is they study the sales strategies and techniques of their own industry obsessively, and then they wonder why they sound like everyone else. Whereas here's exactly what happens when you lose an enrollment in the call. Because before the call, whenever the prospect comes on the call, the prospect would have watched your reel, they would have read your testimonial, or they would have even attended your competitors' webinars. That's what they would have done if they're a serious prospect. And when they get on a call with you, you say the same thing every other coach is saying or every other service provider is saying. What you do is so familiar to them that you don't feel to them as an authority. You are no unique, because you are saying the exact same thing in the exact same way. So they don't register you as an authority at all. And guys, remember, Familiar doesn't close high ticket sale. What closes high ticket sale is authority and uniqueness. Uniqueness is the most important thing. If you've ever gotten that objection that, hey, how are you different from other people, or that person is charging less, that person is charging less, why does this happen? Because people don't think of you as an authority or a unique figure. Because what you are doing is, you have this script, exact script that everyone else is using. You come in the call and use the exact same script, and they're like, oh, I just heard that from other person. All right. So the problem here is not your offer. The problem is your language of how you're selling to people. And here's what almost no one in the coaching industry who's trying to help you in sales is talking about. Persuasion framework are industry agnostic. What do I mean by that? Every persuasion or sales framework can be transferred from one industry to other industry. So this, what I mean is, if in X industry there's a persuasion framework, you can use that exact framework and use in your industry as well, rather than being stuck in the same framework you have been taught and everyone else is using. Because the psychology that closes a 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 4 lakh or 5 lakh deal is identical to the psychology of what closes a car, a home, or a SaaS subscription. So because the humans are not changing, what is changing is only product. So if you only study coaching content, coaching sales strategies, or your freelancing sales strategies, agency sales strategies, or your own industry, whichever industry you are, if you're just learning those sales strategies, that's a very, very tiny pool. Because you are using the same phrases everyone else is using as well, as you got those strategies from someone else who has been teaching it to everyone else like you. So you'll sound like everyone. So if you study outside your industry, there are unlimited framework, fresh language that no one else is using, and that competitor have never used or seen, or neither your prospect have seen. And when you use that, you become the authority when you're talking to people in the sales call, even when you're doing general pitching. This is the most important framework your competitor does not even know exist. And let me just show you how does this framework works. This is like a 3-part framework. First, what you have to do is you have to identify the mechanism, not the words. What do I mean by that? When you watch a sales video from other industry, don't listen for the scripts. Understand what is the technique which they're actually following. Are they using breakdowns? Are they using cost of inaction? Are they building urgency? What exactly are they doing when they're trying to handle a certain objection? Once you identify that, all right, this is the objection and this is what the person is doing. Let's say the objection is a lot of money and the person is breaking down the money, and that's how they're handling the objection. So that's what you have to understand, the mechanism. Once you understand the mechanism, the second part is you translate that mechanism into your industry rather than copying. Don't copy. All right, take that mechanism and rebuild it according to your offers, your numbers. Don't just copy the script. I'll just give you a live example. So this cost of inaction framework is modeled from a real estate sales training. All right. So the real estate sales training looks something like this. Whenever they have to show the cost of inaction, every month you wait, you are still paying rent. That money is gone forever. Meanwhile, the property appreciates every single month that you're delaying, because that's not free. Waiting is just paying without owning anything. That's what is happening right now. So let's say the person gave some cost of inaction, said, I need to think about it, or right now is not the time. Then we are just breaking down and showing the cost of inaction in a different industry. That's how it's being handled. Then what you can do is you can take it in your coaching space or whichever space. You will be like, you have been trying to figure this out from 8 months. And coaches in this program are hitting like 5 to 8 lakhs in 90 days. So the investment is not 1.5 lakhs. You have already left more than that on the table. Why you have been deciding? Because the delay is never free. Guys, this is just an example where I'm showing you how to translate from one industry to other industry. It's not a real objection handling script. All right. So just to help you understand like what you have to do when it comes to finding the objection. So here the psychology, if you see, the psychology is same, but the words are just being changed. That's what you have to do. And ultimately, the most important thing, even if you get these objection, it's not like just getting the objection is the game. You have to drill those objection until you can't get it wrong. Most coaches just have these scripts with them, or they'll just go through those scripts one or two times, but that does not help you at all. You have to drill down the objections, practice these objections until you have learned, you have those objection handlers inside your brain, and you can never get it wrong, because getting it right once does not make sense. You have to learn till the time you can't get it wrong, until you are doing it on autopilot. When you flow like this objection was created by you, that's when these objection handlers are effective. I see this is the biggest mistake people do. They try to use any objection handlers, they're like reading it from scripts rather than flowing it. Because, guys, words flowing like water shows your personality, all right? And that's what comes through rap count, all right? It's not like everyone can flow like words. They're doing it because they have practiced it multiple times. So how to build this and how to use this framework in next 20 minutes, I'll just show you that. So first, minute 1 to 10, watch a sales video from a completely different industry: real estate, SaaS, insurance, automotive. If you're a life coach, then business coaching, whatever industry which is different. Ask one question while you're watching: what is this technique actually doing? What is the type of technique they're using? Once you have seen that, a 10-minute video, name the mechanism in one sentence, like this person is using cost of an action, social proof, just name it whatever you can. It does not matter. Once you have named it, then you just rewrite it according to your industry. No perfectionism needed, just rewrite it. Once you have done it, very important part, record yourself delivering it on your phone. Watch it back, not for the comfort, but it's very important to understand that, is the logic sounding, is the logic landing or not, is the logic something that people will believe, and would you yourself buy in this logic or not? And if that is right, that means this is the right handler that has been created. Then you just drill it down every single day. You should have an entire document of objection handlers that you should be going through until the objections are fit in your mind, until you can't imagine getting it wrong. So the best way to do it is having this commitment 5 days a week. If you're doing it straight for 16 days, you'll have an entire library of objection handlers that no one else is using. And that is where the game changes completely. And the top coaches closing 50,000 to 80 lakh a year are not the ones who know their framework better than everyone else, guys. Always remember, everyone knows their framework. They are the ones who have built the largest toolkit of human persuasion framework. If you see any coach who's making a lot of money and you think that they're making a lot of money because they're so good, that's completely false. They're making a lot of money because they have cracked the persuasion sales framework, which they have pulled from multiple other industries, pulled from real estate, automotive, SaaS, insurance, every other industry, and learned how to apply it in the right way in their own industry. When you do this, the game completely changes for you. So make sure you have amazing skills of your niche, but you have to go outside of your niche to learn some new sales techniques, and that's where you become different and unique.
Have you ever had this question where you thought that what if there was a way that could actually increase your closing rate without you having to follow all those difficult sales scripts, without you having to handle multiple objections? Have you ever thought that? And if yes, then in this video, I'll be showing you the exact one simple shift that will change your closing rate forever without you having to handling multiple objections, without you having to handle and follow multiple complicated sales strategies. And guys, this will be the game changer for you. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about the biggest block that hold any sale. And after talking to multiple people and asking that what is stopping you from making that sale, and if I ask you also right now, your answer would be objections. Objections of it's too costly, let me just think over it.
I'll talk to my partner, XYZ objections that people give to you when you share your pricing. Now, what if there was a way that could have helped you to handle these objections even before they come? Wouldn't that make sales much more easier? Wouldn't that increase your closing rate drastically? Guys, if that can be achieved, you can literally increase your closing rate to 2 times to 4 times. And that would be crazy, like without going through all those complicated sales strategies, without doing any other change in your sales scripts or sales processes that you're following. But before we talk about what is that shift again, why do you actually get objection? 90% of the people think that it's money. Money is the reason which gets this objections. But in reality, it's not the money that is the main reason. The major reason anyone gives you the objection is uncertainty. They are not certain that if they work with you, they'll get the results or not. And that is the reason 80% of the time anyone gives you the objection, not because of the money. Because if anyone is 100% certain in what you do, they'll be paying you anything to get the results. They'll be getting the money from anywhere to get the results. So closing sales will become just a piece of cake if you can make someone 100% certain. Now, the main goal of this entire strategy is to get out this uncertainty and make the person more certain about what you do. And if you do this correctly, the person sitting in front of you will start feeling and believing that you can help them out. And once they start believing you can help them out, sales will just become a piece of cake. Now, the old ways that are usually keeping you stuck. Wrong way normally maximum people follow is they share their pricing. If person gives any objection, they think it is because of money. And because of that thought process, they start giving discounts or start giving fake scarcities and all that stuff. But when you do that, actually what happens in your prospect minds is start feeling that you are needy and they start pushing themselves away from that sales. Or second way, what you would be doing is you would share the pricing and people would be giving you objections and you would be trying to handle that. The problem with this way is when you share the pricing, handling objection becomes difficult because people closes off as soon as you share the pricing. Now they don't want to talk that much. So handling objection at this point becomes much more difficult. The goal is here, rather than following these old ways, we have to make someone 100% certain about your process even before you share the pricing. And if you're able to do that, as I told you, sales become a piece of cake. And handling all the concerns even before you handle any objections. This can only be done using these 5 questions that I'll be showing you in this training. And this small shift will change the game for you. Now, let's talk about this 5-question framework. Remember, guys, use this once you have shown your process, once you have shown your product. Before going with the pricing, this is the place you'll be using these 5 questions. Now, let's talk about these questions. What are these questions? The first question is, as soon as you have told your entire process, we have to ask them, in terms of process, how do you feel? This question will help your prospect to sell themselves to you. They'll be talking what they liked about the process. And this triggers this conscious and subconscious mind alignment. And when they're more aligned, the probability of them buying from you increases. So as soon as you'll ask this question, the prospect will be saying this process looks good and XYZ, whatever they'll be saying to you. Once you have asked this question, your one part of the work is done. Now the prospect consciously also knows that this process works and they have spoken it out loud. Now the second question that we ask is, what part do you resonate with the most? Now they would have told you that the process looks good and everything, but let's dive even deeper. And why should we even ask this question? When you're asking this question makes them to go deeper and talk about all the features. Now, what is happening inside their mind? Subconsciously, they are becoming much more certain about your process. When you're asking this question, they start believing more about your process because they're talking about the features, what they like, what exactly resonates most with them. So normally prospect would be, I love how the entire process is laid out and how you're providing accountability, XYZ. So this is triggering that belief. And ultimately, as I told you, the goal to make any sale easy is to make the person more certain and believe about your process. So these questions helps you to do that part really well. Now, once you have done that, what we do is we start to find and we start to identify the hidden objections. And that's when the third question starts coming into the play. So we ask the third question, which is, on a scale of 1 to 10,
1 being this process is not for me, and 10 being like I'm 100% certain if I follow this process, I'll achieve my goal. Where are you on that scale? Now, this will show you that are they certain about this process or not. And if they're 100% certain, you know beforehand only that they're 100% certain. If that is the case, the sale become really easy. Now, if they have said 8, 7, 6, 9, whatever, that shows us there are some concerns. And this is where the real magic happens. At this point, you handle every objection that you have. And the way we do that is by the last 2 questions. So let's say the prospect says that they're 8 on 10. Now, the first question we ask is 8 is a great number. Why 8? Why not 5 or 6? We do reverse selling again. We let them justify the reason of why they're even giving it a 8. So we can understand that it's not just a fake number they're giving. And they can also consciously know that, all right, this number is given because of XYZ reason. Once they've explained you and told you that why they're giving it an 8 and why not 5 or 6, now we move to the final question, which is the 5th question. Now, what is that 2 which is missing in the process? So here they'll tell you the actual concerns. You can get multiple concerns there. Concern about the money, the concern about the certainty in the process, the concern about trust in themselves that they can follow this process or not. Here you'll actually reveal multiple objections that you even didn't think were there. And once you handle these objections in the right way, sales become really, really easy. These 5 questions has completely changed games for multiple people I have given sales trainings to. If you follow these 5 questions in the right way, you will be able to increase your closing rate to 2 times to 4 times. Of course, it's not just about asking these 5 questions, it's also about handling the concerns and the objections that they'll give to you. And ultimately, when you handle all the concerns and objections, now they'll feel more secure, more connected with the process, more confident in the process. And once that happens, you finally move towards the pricing part. That's where the real sales happen. All right. So there's an optional question also you can ask here. Let's say you have done the questions, you have handled all the concerns. Once you have handled all the concerns, you can again ask, now on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? So once they give you rating again, you'll know that is your job done or not, or still some uncertainty is left. You do that until you get a 10 on 10 in the process. And when you get the 10 on 10, that's where sales become really easy. So guys, follow this 5 question framework and you will see the magic inside your sales calls and your conversion rate actually. And if you want me to personally help you with your sales, then there's a link down below through which you can book a one-on-one call with me where we can talk about the challenges you're facing inside your sales process. And there we can create a plan of how we can help you personally take your closing rate from where it is to ultimately to having 30 to 50% closing rate inside your sales calls. How many sales do you lose each and every single month when your prospect says, I need time to think about it? This is one of the most common objections that maximum salespeople get. And if you are getting that objection and you are losing out your sale because of this, then I'll just show you how to handle that in this video. So if you want that to stop happening with you and you want to stop losing those sales, then pay close attention, guys. Because I'll be showing you right now that what is the reason and how to handle that objection step by step. So guys, there are 2 major reasons why you're even getting this objection. First and the biggest reason is you didn't identify their big pain. So they don't have the urgency of buying from you right now. So they're just procrastinating and asking for time. Because even if they do not solve it today, it won't matter to them. And this is one of the most common reason I have found in 99% of the people. They're just looking for an handler for this objection. Of course, there is a handler of how to handle this particular objection, but you have to understand if you don't identify their big pain for them to take an action now, it does not matter what kind of handler you use, you'll never be able to solve this objection ever. So this is one of the biggest problem I have found. And if you are doing this mistake, I have created a video which I'll link below. Watch that video and it will help you to identify the big pain of those prospects and you'll be able to close the sales in just one single call. Now, the second reason of you getting this objection, if you have done the first thing properly, is there is some underlying objection.
Everyone is trying to handle, I need to think about it, I need to think about it. But there's, in reality, that is not a real objection. It just the person's way of saying to you that, hey, I cannot tell you the reason, or I just don't want to tell you the reason, I want to get off the call. That's what they're saying indirectly to you. So there's a real underlying objection that we have to handle, not I need to think about it. So, how to handle that underlying objection, guys? First, guys, you have to understand what is the underlying objection. There are three major underlying objection that are holding them back from taking your program or moving ahead with whatever you're selling. First and the biggest reason is uncertainty. Guys, they're just not certain enough that if they take your solution, it will be either the best solution or they'll get results. That's it. That's 80% of the reason why the person is not moving ahead with you. And remaining is money and partner. Like either the money is a big problem, what you're selling, it just they feel it's a lot of money or they don't have the money. That's the reason. Or partner, they cannot just take the decision by themselves. That's why they want to wait and talk to their partner before they can move ahead with you. So these are the three major underlying reasons why the prospect gives you this objection. And the main goal is to identify among these three which one is it, or is it all the three, and handle those three objections or one of these underlying objections. And the way you do that, guys, I'll just show you what questions will help you to find this underlying objection and what questions will help you to even handle that, which can literally change the entire game for you guys. But before that, I want to tell you this very important thing, which maximum salespeople do, which is the wrong way. As soon as you get the objection, I need time to think about it. And you're like, what do you want to think about? And the person gets defensive and they do not open up. They'll just give you random excuses. I just want to go over through things. I want to sit on it. XYZ random kind of stuff. So never, first of all, do this. If someone is saying to you, I need to think about it, do not say, what do you want to think about? It is literally a trigger for them to closing off and you losing the sale. That's it. If you ever done this and if you're doing this right now, stop that. Instead of that, just start following my framework that I'll be showing you. So the goal is, guys, to make them open up so you can handle the real objection. You don't have to think about it, guys, again. You have to handle the real underlying objection of what is causing them, which will only happen when they open up and share with you the real thing. This can only be done with first getting their guard down. I'll just show you an example, guys. Let's say a prospect says, I need time to go over through things, or I need time to think about it, or whatever objections they're giving as an excuse. You would be like, first, you'll get the guard down. Not a problem at all. Guys, tonality is the key here. You cannot be like, not a problem at all. You cannot be rude. You cannot be, not a problem. Why do you want to think? It's very important that you are having the right tonality and the right facial expression. It should feel like to the person, it does not matter to you that they want to think over it. They should not feel that, oh, that is making you conscious or that is triggering the emotion in you. You should be 100% calm when you're doing this. Not a problem at all. Keeping time aside. Are you 100% certain when it comes to the process? Very important question, guys. This is the question that will help you to understand that is it the uncertainty that is stopping the sale? And in 80% cases, it is the uncertainty only which stops someone to buy from you. This question will literally trigger them to either saying that, hey, I'm not 100% certain. And if you get that, you know that, all right, they're not certain. That's why they're not taking an action with you. So this is the ultimate question which you have to ask as soon as you get the guard down. Not a problem. Keeping time aside. Are you 100% certain when it comes to the process? The prospect will either say, no, I cannot say I'm 100% certain. And if they say that to you, you got the real objection that it's just the uncertainty and that's what you have to handle then. All right. And I'll also show you how to handle that. But before that, the scenario two can be the person says, hey, yes, I'm certain. Now, when the person says, yes, I'm certain, here you have to understand the tonality. Like, how are they saying this? You have to understand the facial expression. Are they really certain, or they just saying for the sake of getting out of the call? Very important. So understand how is the tonality, how are the facial expression. So focus is very important at this particular aspect. Once the person says, yes, I'm certain, this is what you can do. So you are 100% certain. It's just the matter of thinking, right? Curiosity, very important, guys. Your tone should be of curiosity. They should feel that you're curious to understand. So you are 100% certain. It's just a matter of thinking, right? This will help you to reconfirm that is it really the case that they're 100% certain, guys. And if you again inside their voice find that they are certain, or in their voice if you find they're not 100% certain, you just move forward with my next part of the script. Let's say the prospect says to you that, yes, I'm certain. Then you just ask this question. This question will be the game changer for you. There are three major reasons whenever someone says to me, I need to think about it. First is trust in the process. They just don't feel the process is something that can help them to achieve the goals. Second is trust in me. They don't feel that I am the right person who can help them with this. Third is trust in themselves. They don't know if they themselves can apply this process. Among these three, which one are you? These guys will finally get the real reason. If they have not said anything so far, this will make them open up. And even if they have said to you they're not 100% certain, this is what you can use. And here the person will tell you either they're uncertain if there is any one of these three things that is holding them back from taking action, or they will even tell you the real reason that no, it's not any one of these, it's just the money, or it just I need to once make sure is this the right time to move forward. So you'll get the real reason of why the person is holding themselves from moving forward with this. And once you know the real reason that which one is it, you just have to handle that. And if done right, you'll be able to close as many sales as you are looking for. If you love this video and if you want to make sure you don't lose out on any of my further trainings that can literally save you multiple lakhs or multiple thousands of dollars, then make sure you subscribe. I'll see you in the next training. I always tell every of my client that stop handling objections and start eliminating it. And yes, there is a way where you can actually completely eliminate the objection rather than wasting your time in handling those objections, because when you get into that zone of handling those objections, it's just those pushy conversations that happens, and no one loves those conversations. So how can you actually do that? So before I go and show you exactly how to do that, you would yourself have seen those scenarios where you get those objections. I need to think about it. Now is not a great time. Send me an email. Can you give me a discount? It does not matter if you're a coach, consultant, or a service provider, whatever you do. But these are some scenarios you would have gone through yourself. And then you end up sending follow-up email after email, message after message, call after call. You wait, but nothing happens. The reason follow-ups are not working is not that your follow-ups are bad or your offer is bad, but the reason they don't work is because the prospect never felt enough pain to change and make that decision. And here's what most salespeople do wrong. They treat objections like a problem to solve. They push back, they give logics, they try to find their way to getting a yes. But remember, objections are not problems, they are the symptoms. You think it is a real problem, but no, it is a symptom. That's why you get an objection. So the real problem the prospect didn't buy from you is because your prospect didn't felt enough pain to change. Fix that and your objection will disappear. And let me show you how to do that and why is this really important. So I'll give you a psychology of why someone wants the change and what actually makes people buy from you. Forget about the features, forget about the benefits, forget even about your credentials. There are only two things that cause human to get that change. One is the current pain of being where they are. They're just not comfortable being where they are. The pain is too big to stay in the same situation. And second, the fear of future pain, of what if this situation continues to persist. These are the only two things that makes people want to change, nothing else. And that's the whole game. If your prospect doesn't feel the current pain intensely and they can't clearly picture what worse will happen if nothing changes, they will never buy from you. And most salespeople, what they do, they try to sell a dream, the transformation, imagine the life after. But does that really work? Does people really want to buy a dream? Do they really take action for the dream? There's that sales technique used to work years back, but now it does not works anymore because dreams feels good, but it never closes those deals. Remember this, guys. People don't move towards pleasure, they run away from pain. Sell the problem, not the solution. And if you have been thinking, why my offer is not working, it's so amazing, the transformation is so amazing, because you're selling the wrong thing. They are not looking for the solution, they are trying to run away from the pain. So sell that. And I'll show you how to do that right now. So you can completely eliminate every time you get that objection. So if in every sales call you do this properly, you'll never get the objection. Now let me tell you how to do this properly. So there are 6 layers of pain, or I follow the 6-layer framework, which is of course going deeper than the surface. And here's the 90%, here's what 90% salespeople do wrong. They stop at the layer 1 and it costs them the sale every single time. I'll give you an example. Let's say you are selling health coaching for entrepreneurs who are going through low energy. That's what you're selling. Most salespeople will pitch at layer 1. You will have more energy, you will have better focus, you'll feel amazing. All right, but that's not enough for making a decision. And that's not why someone buys. So let me show you what are the 6 layers that you should be going through. So the surface level layer is low energy and poor focus. That's the main challenge they came to you for. But that's not where sales happen. The second layer, you have to dig deeper. That all right. So how has that been impacting your work? That is layer number 2. Because they will be like, because of this low energy, my performance has been really poor. I have been missing deadlines after deadlines. That's layer number 2. Then you go even deeper, which is the business risk. So because this has been happening inside your work, how has that been affecting your business? My revenue has been dropping, and that has been causing my business to get into that stagnation point. That's where the real pain starts getting out. All right. So this is where you find the real current situation. That's how deeper you're going into. You ask questions and questions to find the real reason that is making them to make this change. Then once you find the real reason, level 4 is making them picture the future. So what would be the worst? What would happen if this continues to go on like this? They'll be like, my business will shut down. There will be no income at all. And then how would that impact your family? I'll not be able to provide to my family. My relationship will get like really bad, or it will cause strain on my relationship. And how would that person impact you? I lose my self worth, broken as provider and leader.
So that's what you're doing, right, guys? If you see how much in depth I'm going, I'm asking question after question to understand the current situation and then even making them realize how would it impact their future.
So the sale is made at layer 6. This is where the real sales are made, not at layer 1. And most salespeople never get past to the layer 1 because that's uncomfortable.
And if you really want to make the sale, you'll have to be willing to get uncomfortable. But most people don't want to get into that discomfort. And that's why you're losing the sale. And because of this, people end up wasting tons of money. So let me just show you now. Let's say you have done this. You have really done this. You will see a lot of objections you'll never get from now. But even if you got the objection, how to handle it then? So I take an objection of, let's say the person said not right now. So this is something I have seen Jeremy Lee Minor do. So I really love this way of handling, and I have been using it, and it has worked like charm for me as well. So I would be using this the deep frame analogy. So I just made it better, and I have been using it now. So the deep frame analogy. So let's say they give you an objection not right now. So how to handle it? So you're like, yeah, that's so. Let's say the prospect say that yes, we really liked what you had to say, but now's not a great time. We'll circle back then when
Some of our things settle down. That's, let's say people said to you this. What most salespeople will do, they'll argue, they'll give some analogies, they'll try to sell them, but the result prospect don't give you anything and they ghost you. But what you'll be doing is this. Here's what actually works. One question you'll ask with a concerned tone, not aggressive, with a concerned tone. Very important, guys. So the way you'll be asking is, how can I communicate to you that you might be making a mistake without you being upset with me? So the tonality is very important. Concern tonality. You should not be like, how can I communicate with you that you are making a mistake without you being upset with me? Don't do it like that. All right, your tonality is what matters. All right. So once they'll be like, once they answer you, like, let me tell you why this works so well. So this question does three things simultaneously. All right, it breaks their pattern. They have no scripted response for this. They have never heard this anywhere else. All right, that's first thing. Your concern tone signals that you know something they don't, which creates doubt in their own frame. And third, it opens the door back without you ever pushing. Very important. So you can't win an argument, guys, but you can make someone doubt their certainty. And that's what the deframe means. What we are doing with the question and our concern tonality is we are making them doubt their own decision. And that's where the sale starts to happening. This is called an ADBQ, an assumption disrupting backtrack question. All right. It doesn't attack their objection. It takes them out of their frame entirely, start making them doubt. And once they say, sure, what's going on, the real conversation begins. So then we'll be re-looping them with their fame. All right. So once they say yes, once you do the deframe, don't pitch. Ask the questions that reconnect them to their pain. All right. Work through those 6 layers using these questions, not statement. We'll not be using statements. We'll be just using questions again. So they can start feeling the pain, because question, when they say it by themselves, it's always 10x harder than what you say. So you'll again just use those questions like, so what happens if you keep pushing this back and nothing changes? They'll be like, XYZ will happen. What does that mean for your business 6 months from now? How does your spouse feels about you still dealing with this? How does do they want you to stay in the same situation? Like these are just example questions. You can definitely create your own questions, but what we're trying to do is we are trying to get them to feel the pain again. All right, never tell them what will happen, ask them. When they say it out loud, they own it. All right, so like, what happens if you keep pushing this again and nothing changes? What does that mean for your business 6 months from now?
See, if you notice what's happening here is you're not pitching a solution, you're walking them through their future pain layer by layer using their own words. You are not doing anything. And by the time, once you have done this, final question, all right, which is the superpower? So, what should we do now to make sure that never happens? Boom. That's where they take the frame, they sell themselves to you. They'll be like, I should make the change. So, how should you make the change? By investing in this. That's where the real thing happens. All right. So, they already know the answer. This is the final question we ask. So, I'll just tell you before. So, what we do is identity frame. Before we go with this question, remember, we don't go it with this right now. We'll be going with this later. Once we have done this, we have made them realize their pain again. All right. We'll be then changing their identity completely.
So why look at doing this now? Why not to push it down the road like a lot of executives who never fix their health and never quite reach the next level? So why not? Why to do that? So what we are doing is we are making them changing the frame. All right. So nobody wants to be this person. The one who always say, everyone will always say that I don't want to procrastinate. I don't want to do this. So what is happening is we are changing their identity.
So here, rather than thinking about it, think about it. They're going to think like what will happen. So you are not selling them on buying, you're selling them on who they want to be. That's what they're doing right now in here. Super powerful stuff. Super powerful stuff. So the identity frame works because humans make decisions based on who they believe they are. When you connect inaction to the identity, they always reject that. And connect action to the identity they want, they close themselves. That's why it is so powerful. So you didn't push, you didn't argue, you didn't fight, you asked the right questions. So what happened? Once you ask this, why look at doing this now? They'll be like, I cannot wait to do it in the future. And then we do the final close, which is, so what should we do now? And then they close themselves. That's the power. So just to give you a summary, guys, how it works. So never the biggest reason people never close a sale is because they're always going with the surface level pain. Do not do that. Use my 6-layer deep question framework to go into the real pain. Once you have gotten to the real pain, just deframe their own personality. Make them doubt what they just said using the deframe question. Then you repaint the loop. All right, you make them understand their own problem again. Once we have done that, we frame the identity, we get them to a complete new identity who is an action taker, and then we let them close themselves. We be like, so what should we do now? And they answered the question themselves to you. All right. So guys, remember, stop trying to overcome objections. Start diagnosing whether your prospect actually feels enough pain to change or not. And if they're objecting, that means you haven't gone deep enough. Go back, ask better question, get to that layer 6. The sale was never about the product, guys. Always remember, it was always about their pain. Go find it using this framework and you'll see huge impact in your own sales skills.
If you're a salesperson and you're tired of getting these objections, I need to think about it, or I'll start it in the future, and you're tired of those multiple follow-ups, going on multiple calls, you're just not able to do those one call closes. And that is what frustrates you the most. And if that is the case, then I'll show you in this video exactly how to build the urgency in the sales call that the person is ready to buy from you right now on the same call itself. So guys, before we talk about how to build this urgency, it's important for you to understand that what is required for someone to take a decision on the call itself. There are majorly two biggest drivers for any sale to happen. The first and the most important one is current pain. What is the pain that they're going through right now because of that problem inside their life? And second is fear of future pain, that what can happen if they do not solve this problem. These are the two major things, if done correctly, triggers any sale. Or ultimately, the pain is what helps you to trigger any sale. Now, guys, for any sale to happen, you have to understand that there is third pain also, which is stopping the sale, which is the pain of giving you the money. Now, if you want to trigger any sale, you have to make sure that you trigger the current pain and future pain in such a way that they look bigger, and the person is able to understand that the current pain, staying in the current pain, and the future consequences of staying in the same pain would be bigger than the pain of paying you the money. If you're successful in that, then you will be able to close any sale that you are looking for. And maximum people fail in this particular aspect only. They're not able to make this happen. They're not able to trigger the current pain and future pain in a way that person is like, yes, this is a bigger pain compared to giving the pain of money. Now, I'll just show you in this training what are the questions that actually helps prospect to relive these current pain and future pain so they are ready to buy from you. What are the questions that are actually required to trigger these pains and dig deeper into these pains so they can feel, yes, this is something that needs to be solved right now. Now, before we go into this, the biggest mistake that I see people making is, in order to try to find the pain, they're like asking question, what are the challenges you're facing with X? The problem with that is it just helps you to bring the surface level pain. That is not enough for the prospect to buy from you right now. You need to dig more deeper of these challenges that they're going through. And the second thing is, people try to tell them of what can happen if they stay in the same situation. Guys, you have to understand that the person won't buy from you, or the pain cannot be triggered until they have not realized themselves. They are not telling you what can happen. If you start telling them, nothing happens, nothing is getting triggered. So the goal is to make them relive the pain. And that can only be done when you know how to go deeper into their current situation and how to make them realize that, yes, this is a really, really big pain. And if it continues the way it is, this can be the consequences. Rather than you telling them that this can be the consequences, this can be the pain. This can be done only with the right questions and the right tonality. If you master the right questions and the right tonality, you can make this happen in any sales call. And I'll be showing you exactly right now with an example of how to make the person feel that pain and how to ask the right questions so they can feel the pain right now with the right tonality. So let's take an example, guys. Let's say the person came to you on the call and was like, I'm feeling really stressed about this. I'm having this challenge XYZ. The first question you have to ask to dig deeper is, stressed? What do you mean? So this is the first question that will help you to dig deeper into the pain. Now, it's very important that how your tonality is inside this particular aspect. If you're like, the person said to you, stress, and you're like, all right, stress, what do you mean? If you go right with that, no one will buy from you. All right, no one will open up. If you're like, stress, what do you mean stressed? If you're just going with flat, are you going on sales calls and starting the call by asking your prospect, how are you doing today, or whether you're calling from, or how's the weather there? All these random questions, wasting the first 2, 5, 10 minutes of the sales call, hoping that you will build the connection. If you answered yes to this question, then let me ask you this, guys. Does your prospect usually takes the authority in the call, or they start ranting a lot, not respecting your time, takes control over the call that you had to lead? If you answered yes, it is because you are starting the call in completely wrong way. You are thinking that you are asking these questions to build the connection with your prospect. But in reality, you are losing the authority that is required for someone to buy from you. That's because asking these random questions, if you really think they are helping you to build that connection, then don't you think every pro salesperson would just go on these sales call, ask these easy questions and close the sales? But that's not how it is done, guys. Because if you really want to build authority, if you really want to build connection, you need to ask the right questions, which are not these how's your day going, where are you calling from, XYZ. For someone to buy from you, what you really need is for them to understand that you are the authority, you are someone who can literally change their lives. And there are two things which are really, really important for you to build instant authority, for you to start the call in the right way. First is they knowing you're different. And second, you can help them solve their problem. If you're able to do these two things in the first 20 seconds to 1 minute of the call, that builds instant authority. That's make them feel that yes, you can help them to change their lives, not these random questions. Now, what questions that you should be asking within the first 20 seconds to 1 minute of the call that can help you to build instant authority? Before I go with that, I just want to talk about this wrong way that maximum people are right now using, thinking that this is how you should be starting the call. You would be usually going on the sales call and be like, hey, name, how are you doing today? Like, hey, John, how are you doing today? They'll be like, I'm doing good. Where are you calling from? Like, I'm calling from XYZ. Oh, how's the weather there? What's happening in your life? XYZ questions. If you are that person, then this is a complete wrong way that you are right now following, which you should not be doing, guys. As I told you, this leads you to losing authority because every salesperson is doing that. Every other person who gets on a call with your prospect is following the same exact way. And if you are same compared to the previous salesperson, they instantly, subconsciously have made that all right, you are trying to sell them. You are not different than the previous person they got on the call. This reduces your authority and positions you as any other salesperson. And I hope that you don't want to be positioned as any other salesperson inside the market. So, to help you solve this problem, let me give you two major examples of how you should be starting the call in the right way so the prospect can feel that you are the authority like in instantly 20 seconds to 1 minute of the call. So there are two major ways, guys. First way is the direct way. This is a really, really powerful way that you can use if normally the people inside calls start ranting a lot when you are asking questions. Very good way in intangible industry like health, mindset, relationship, all those industry where people talk a lot. So whenever you start the call, you be like, all right, can you hear me? Can you see me? Like as soon as you get into the call, you have to be like, hey John, can you hear me? The person will be like, yes. Great. But and also can you see me properly? That's how you start the call. Guys, tonality and your facial expression is really important. It should not be like, hey, can you hear me? Can you see me? No, not like that. Right tonality, right facial expression. Hey, John, can you hear me clearly right now? Once the person says yes, great. By the way, is my camera working properly? Can you see me properly? Yes. Once they have confirmed, then you move forward. If the prospect says right, great. Now, if someone has not turned on their camera, then you can just ask that, all right, by the way, John, I cannot see you. I think your camera is not working properly. That's how you can just ask them to start the camera. But if their camera is on, your camera is on, you have gone with the first line, you just move towards the next line. All right. So now the way you'll be doing that is, guys, looking down like in notes. That's how you will be starting. All right. So it looks like you have booked
the call in my calendar and you're possibly looking to get help with scaling your business, or you're possibly looking for help with solving your lead generation challenge so that you can ultimately achieve a goal of 10 lakhs a month. Is that right? That's how you can, like, of course, there's the right tonality is very important in this. You can either look down in notes, like you can make them feel that you're looking down in the notes. All right, so it looks like that you have booked a call to speak with us about solving this challenge of lead generation and scaling a business. Is that right? That's how you can start the call. Guys, tonality is the key. If you are like, all right, so it looks like you had booked the call to talk about how can we help you about, like, if you're going with a flat tone, people will, like, what is he doing? People will understand you're following a script. Tonality is very important. All right, so it looks like you have booked a call in my calendar looking for possible ways to help with solving this lead generation problem so you can scale your business to 10 lakhs a month. Is it right? That's how you can start the call. They should feel you're taking note, you are seeing something from the notes. All right. This instantly boosts your authority, guys. When you are seeing in the notes, this is how any doctor also starts with. They would normally see and be like, all right, so what I can see from your prescription that you are facing XYZ problem and you are looking for the XYZ solution. That's how a doctor starts. So it position you subconsciously in a way that you are the doctor. You are here to solve the problem. So that's the way number one that you can use to start any of your call. You can just use the exact script. This works like a charm. All right. Way number two is a personalized way. If you're like, Ayush, I cannot just start the call directly like this. I want a little bit the connection before I start the calls. Then you can be like, all right, so same, can you hear me? Can you see me? The exact same way I just showed you with the right tonality. Once the prospect says yes, all right, great. So how are you doing today? The person would be like, good, awesome. So where are you calling from? The prospect will reply XYZ. Guys, here you have to be doing it at a high speed. You should not wait for people to be like, all right, where are you from? How are you doing? Just ask the next question. All right, so how are you doing today? They say great. As soon as they say great, you move to the next question. Great, so where are you calling from? The person will be like, I'm calling from XYZ place. Amazing. So ready for the call? They'll be like, yes. That's how you do it. And then you go with, what we'll be doing on this call is we'll be understanding more about what are the challenges you're facing inside your business and create a plan to ultimately achieve the goals you are aiming for. All right. Sounds good. The person will like, yes, and you start. Guys, here the tonality is everything. If you're like, so what we will be doing in this call is to understand more about the challenge so we can create a plan to achieve your goal. Sounds good? Never do like that. Right tonality. In everything we'll be seeing, it should feel like it's a real conversation that is going on. All right, so how are you doing today? Like a tonality, a playful tonality. How are you doing today? The person like, great. Oh, amazing. So where are you calling from? I'm calling from XYZ. Great. So what we'll be doing here, John, today is we'll be understanding what's like the main challenges you're facing inside your business so that we can ultimately create a plan so you can hit these goals you are aiming for. Sounds good? Tonality and facial expression and your hand gestures are very important. So these are the two ways you should be starting any call with. This helps you to frame the call in a way, in a different way. They feel like this is something that is where they'll get the help they're looking for. It's not just a sales call. This is, if you use these one of the ways, then you will see you are taken as much more authority in the calls and people respect you more inside the call. All right, so if you want to make sure you don't lose any of my further trainings that can literally save multiple lakhs, then make sure you subscribe down below and stay tuned for my next trainings. It will definitely take your business to the next level. And of course, if you want to work with me directly to help you out, then there's a link below to book a call with me. Book the call and we'll see how we can help you out.